everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about the hot topic right now, which is basically TikTok Shop. I'm going to go about how you can crack the 100K a month code. So hopefully you can learn something from this. So my main objective for today is basically by the end of this presentation, you will have the exact actionable playbook that we're using for brands right now and helping them scale on the actual platform. Does that sound good? Cool. So in terms of who I am, so again, just a little short intro. So I've been doing e-commerce for over 10 years now. My background was Meta, aka Facebook back then, and obviously started doing TikTok about 4.5 years ago. Started helping brands getting more content from an organic perspective and obviously driving traffic from TikTok ads to DTC. My agency, Social Tales, so again, we're one of the leading TikTok shop agencies now. We've got brands in the UK and the US. The split right now is about 85% are US based and 15% in the UK. So even though TikTok Shop is obviously a great platform to be on right now, it's definitely getting a lot harder. And these are 4 reasons why. So reason 1 is obviously limitations. So again, the platform is getting a lot harder. What worked 6 months ago is redundant. So for example, 6 months ago, you could get a virtual assistant, you could get an outreach bot, and you could literally just reach out to as many creators as possible. That has now changed. So if you're launching on the platform fresh, it's going to be a lot harder because you've got restrictions in terms of your GMV. So GMV I'll talk about throughout this, but GMV is basically gross merchandise value. So again, if you're not getting enough sales on the platform, you're going to be a lot more restricted. Competition. So yes, it still is an open platform in terms of being able to get results right now. But at the same time, everyone's starting to fight for the same customers. So again, you need to be doing stuff different and obviously have the right strategy to do so. Creator selectiveness. So again, top creators are getting a lot harder to reach out to. They're like behind a paywall. So again, what can you do to get in front of them? What makes your brand, your product more specific and obviously helps them to want to be able to market you? Because again, they get about 200 to 300 messages per day. So you need as a brand to stand out in their inbox. And then again, in terms of that 1% gap, what I say is 1% of the creators are going to generate a lot of revenue. And again, just like on TikTok Shop, it's an 80-20 rule. But what you'll see is about 5% of revenue will come from, 9% of revenue will come from 5% of the creators. So again, the other 99% of creators, how can you bring them into your ecosystem? How can you train them? How can you work with them to hopefully get them to start generating some revenue for you? And then the thing is, why brands are struggling right now. So there's 3 main reasons. Lack of knowledge. So again, brands will probably speak to each other. So again, they might speak to another CMO, another CEO, and obviously see they're doing really well. But what I say, what works for one brand may not work for another, okay? So you need to have a strategy on the platform. Because again, you might be able to go 3-6 months and not make any revenue or not make ROI, whereas obviously some brands could only do that maybe 1 month. So again, understanding the platform and the expectations is key. Many people think they can jump on the platform, start generating sales, and it's going to work. That is not the case. Outdated methods. So again, what worked 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, no longer works. You have to be in the trenches if you're going to do TikTok shops right. And you need to dedicate resources, whether it's time and money, into the actual platform. And then poor preparation. So again, if you're not planning ahead of time, you will get left behind by your competition. For example, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if you weren't planning 2-3 months ahead, guess what? You probably missed out. So again, it's all about getting the right preparation in place. So with that all being said, it's all about understanding the game. So with TikTok, you've got 2 main things. You've got obviously their user base, which I say is their customers, and the algorithm. So if you can play by TikTok's rules, you are going to get better results on the platform. And what I mean by that is, as you can imagine, TikTok's aim is they want to keep the users on the platform as long as possible. So as a brand, if you can basically post more organic content, if you can do more TikTok lives, work with more affiliates, amplify all that with ads, you're going to be playing towards what TikTok wants, and that's going to help you in the actual algorithm. And you'll hear me throughout kind of talking about these big green ticks that TikTok wants to see. So again, if you can do this, this is going to give you a big tick from a TikTok perspective. So with all that being said, we're going to go into the actual playbook. So these 5 points here you can go away today. If you've got a brand on TikTok Shop already or you're about to launch, you can literally take this is what we're doing right now, and implement it. So we're going to first of all go into the fundamentals. We're going to touch on what I call the inner circle boost. We're going to then talk about the initial launch moment. We're going to talk about the revenue surge sales, and then finish off with the engagement reboot campaign. Does that sound good? Amazing. So in terms from a TikTok Shop perspective, this was always our approach at our agency. We always said aggression prompts growth. And what I mean by aggression is basically doing everything to the max. So whether you're doing ads, spending a lot on ads, doing a lot of content, reaching out to a lot of affiliates, and basically doing it as much as possible to try and get momentum. The thing is with that, the platform is maturing every single day. So rather than this is the new approach. You want to have a calculated aggression. And with that, you start to look in terms of what is working and doing more of what's working. So again, rather than just being aggressive and just throwing stuff against the wall, you want to be calculated with what you're doing. So this is kind of the hypothesis that, again, if you take this and just keep this in mind when you're running on the platform, it'll make everything so much more easier for you. What TikTok Shop looks for, they're basically going to evaluate what your brand is doing and benchmark you against other brands in your category. They'll do this daily, weekly, and monthly. So what you want to be aiming for, across all the metrics that we're going to go through, a 10 to 30% increase weekly is what you want to do. That growth will feed into the platform's algorithm. And again, this is all based on experience, doing this across multiple brands. If you do this and get more sustainable growth rather than the sales spikes, because again, sales spikes are great, but what happens is they drop back down. So you want to get the spikes, keep the momentum and get more spikes. That's how you kind of want to go. More momentum equals more opportunity on the platform. So how do we go about achieving this? So we'll start with the fundamentals. Again, so many brands get this wrong because they're just trying to jump on the platform, launch, and think it's going to work straight away. That is not the case. So if you follow these, again, this is going to get you ahead of the game. So first things first, your product display page, so your PDB score. Such an easy win if you're optimizing for your title, making sure obviously you've got keywords in there. So again, obviously people are going to be searching on the platform now. If you're on TikTok, you're probably searching for features, key benefits, stuff like that. Your description as well, making sure it all stands out. And the thing is, if you got your product display page, you can go from fair to good. You want your score to be good. That's an easy win for you. Number of shoppable videos. So again, this is what's going to be actually posted on your profile. And so many brands get this wrong. You've got two ways to post. You can either post by not tagging the product, or you can post by tagging the product. When you tag a product in your post, you will automatically get less views. But a lot of people get thrown off by that and think, oh, TikTok's not working. But the reason for that is TikTok is basically showing your shoppable video to people who are going to be more likely to convert. And obviously your content that's got no taggable shoppable video in, so no shoppable product in, that's going to go to a different audience. So again, don't worry about the views. It's all about just getting the content out there, having a strong hook, having a USP, and having that call to action. Number of live sessions. So again, live sessions can be very daunting, and I admit it. It's not going to get you high sales to begin with, but again, it's just sending positive signals to TikTok. So again, can you do 1 a week consistently? Can you do 3 to 5 consistently? That's the main thing that TikTok wants to see. Then number of creators generating content. So again, obviously each creator that you obviously send a sample out to, their obligation is to post once, but how can you motivate them? How can you incentivize them to be posting multiple pieces of content for you? And then obviously number of new creators generating content. So this is net new. So again, how many people are you getting into your ecosystem to post for your actual brand? And then samples distributed. So again, you want to make sure you're getting as many samples out as possible. And this is sample request. So this graph here will basically kind of show you how you want to be doing your samples. Because again, what a lot of brands do on the platform, they will launch, they'll be stagnant for a week or two, and then they think, okay, let's get going. And then what will happen is maybe week 1, they'll maybe get 10 sample requests out, then maybe 90, then 5. It's too inconsistent. TikTok will not know in terms of if you're serious on the platform. So what you want to do is make sure it's steady, that 10 to 30% week-on-week growth. So again, I always recommend for any brand, 200 plus samples per month is key. You can do less than that, but again, it's going to take you a lot more time to get traction and actually get results. So again, Consistency is key. So again, you want to make sure your graph looks like this when you're sending out samples. So now we've talked about the foundation, we're going to go into the execution. So we're going to start off with the inner circle boost. What you want to do with this is all about working with your close network, whether it's your team members, whether it's your family, whether it's your neighbors, whoever it is. You want to get people buy-in from your shop. And again, TikTok approves of this right now. Whether they do in 6 months' time, who knows? Because the platform is still the wild, wild west right now. So again, the main thing for this is to establish credibility and get sales on the dashboard. So again, it creates immediate traction, showing TikTok that you're serious and you're actually getting sales. And again, it sends that big green tick to the algorithm. The reason why it works well as well, because again, if you're speaking with your close friends, close network, they're going to be more obliged to obviously buy from you. So again, depending on how big your team is, how big your network of friends are, get them to buy. One extra tip, show them how to buy as well. TikTok Shop is still new, and whether you talk to your mom, your dad, your grandparents, they might not know how to buy on TikTok Shop yet. So again, put together a process, a video, and show them how to actually purchase, and then tell them if they can leave a review as well. This is going to help you start off well on the platform. And once you've done that, this is the initial launch moment. Anyone here heard of David Protein? Anyone? So basically, David Protein, they launched on TikTok Shop recently, and within 30 days, they worked with less than 100 creators and generated 185K on the platform, okay? So you can take this exact strategy, whether it's 50 affiliates you work with, 100 affiliates, 1,000 affiliates, it still is the same process. And how this works is you basically want to build a moment on the platform, work with specific creators, give them a clear brief that's similar. So again, you're getting the same content out. But the reason why this works is because you need it to be in a certain moment. So again, whether it's a 7-day window, 10-day window, 14-day window, you need them to post in all at the same time. Because again, from a TikTok Shop perspective, that is a positive from them. They're seeing, okay, your brand is serious. You're starting to get a lot of content into the ecosystem. So you're probably asking and thinking, okay, but how do we work with these creators? So money always talks. You will be able to get in front of creators. There's obviously platforms like Join Brand, Incense. There's obviously communities as well where you can obviously reach out to these top affiliates. It does work. But what I would recommend is you need to get someone to support you with this, whether you get an affiliate coordinator in, whether you get a freelancer, whether you get agency, because it does take a lot of preparation. But if you do it right, the results speak for themselves. This one right here is one of my favorite ones. This is what I call the revenue surge sale. So again, it's all about driving GMV. Don't worry right now about ROI. When you're on TikTok Shop, ROI should be out of the equation for the first 3 months, because again, this is all about just getting GMV on the platform. So what you want to be doing is a 30 to 50% discount works really well. And how you want to set this up, you want to set this with a flash sale. Flash sales, you can only set up in a 3-day period, 3-day windows, but what you want to do is continue to run it. And the reason why it works well with flash sale, because what happens is you get the countdown. Everybody loves the countdown, that FOMO. So again, if that's counting down that this discount's going to run out, people are going to want to buy. And again, depending on your brand, you can either do this for 7 to 14 days, or if you can't, because in terms of basically you don't want to run out of money or it's going to cost you too much, do long weekend sales. So again, from Friday to Monday, do this 4 times a month. Again, you're going to see traction from this. This is all about just boosting visibility, getting GMV on the dashboard. And then from then onwards, this is the engagement reboot campaign. So again, if you're already on D2C, you've already got a list, this works very, very well. So again, you want to engage with your existing customer base. So all you want to do is set up a campaign, whoever you're using for your email provider right now, and basically just go and tell your current customers, current users that, look, we've launched on TikTok Shop, we want you to be a part of this. If you do this, I can guarantee you, you will make sales. And the reason why this works so well is because these are already people who are loyal to your brand. They already know about the brand. And again, I know people are going to say, look, we want to use TikTok Shop for net new customers. That will all come later on. This is all about just getting traction. So again, you can either offer them a massive discount, or you can obviously integrate this with the revenue surge sale. And again, it will allow you to scale very quickly. All about generating GMV again. And then finally, if you can do this, add fuel with ads. It's going to literally 10x this. TikTok Shop is becoming even more of a pay-to-play platform. So again, if you start to put ad dollars into this, it's going to make it so much easier for it to work. Because again, it's a very predictable platform right now. You've got GMV Max, which works well. It kind of gives you an ROI in terms of what you're going to get a return from, and you can literally scale this. So again, if you've got budget to do this, trust me, do all this right and add fuel to the fire with ads. So when you get this right, it should look like this, like a staircase. You want to get your shop fundamentals right. You want to then focus on your inner circle boost, have that initial launch moment, that revenue surge sale, engagement reboot campaign. And like I say, if you can add fuel to the fire with this, with ads, it will obviously help you scale even more. So to conclude all of that, once you've done all this, trust me, you will start to make sales. If you do not skip any of these points, it will work for you right now, okay? And then once you do that, the main thing is you want to go away and then look at your actual insights. Because again, what a lot of brands do on the platform, they'll do something, they won't look at the data, they won't know what's working. So again, you can now start to identify long-term partnerships with creators who have delivered strong results. Again, they're going to be the ones that are going to keep scaling your brand reach. So again, treat them well, treat them like VIP affiliates, and again, you'll reap the rewards from that. And then guess what? Once you start to build momentum, you're going to access higher tier creators, because what will happen is rather than you having to reach out to creators, they're going to start reaching out to you. And the great thing is consistent traction on TikTok Shop will lead to even more support. Trust me when I say this, the brands you work with are doing less than 100K compared to the brands doing like 500K plus. The support is ridiculous, okay? Because to the last point, if you're doing well on the platform, TikTok Shop's doing well on the platform. It's a win-win scenario, right? So again, it's in their best interest that if you are actually doing what obviously works well on the platform, start to scale your brand, you're going to unlock so many more doors from a TikTok Shop perspective. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that all made sense. And thank you for listening.